gonna do some runs here. And I've been given the go-ahead to give a countdown for whenever we're ready, so let's get into it. So I'll start the run in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, this is Kirby's Dream Land 2, Best Ending. So let's talk about Kirby's Dream Land 2. This is the sequel to Kirby's Dream Land 1, in case you weren't aware. Not the second game in the Kirby series, which I did not know till a month ago. Third game, actually. So this is the second game for the Game Boy for Kirby. We have power abilities, we have updated graphics, we have better music, great stuff. There's not much to say in this first level. We're just gonna go straight to the end. So let's talk about the categories in this game. There are 3 primary categories: any percent, best ending, and 100%, in order of shortest to longest. I also got the fire ability. The fire makes you go faster. La-di-da. We'll use that to go horizontally. This boss has 2 different RNG patterns. I got the slowest one that costs 2 seconds, but we can just do that. I'll talk a lot more about mini bosses as we get to them. So back to best ending categories. So any percent is kind of obvious. You kind of just beat the game as fast as possible. However, there are two endings to this game. The bad ending if you don't get all of the special items, and the best ending, which is what we're doing. So any percent's about 30 some odd minutes long, maybe 38 or so. The world record, at least, that is. Best ending is 43, like a high 43 by me. Hold on, I gotta do this jump here. Okay. So what we're gonna do in best ending, in contrast to any percent, is we're gonna collect all of the rainbow drops. There are 7 rainbow drops in the game. The game's in black and white because it's on Game Boy, but they're rainbow, just trust me. So this is a rainbow drop right here. Each world has a rainbow drop. There are 7 worlds in the game. Gotta focus on my jumps, you know, just speedrunner things. Each rainbow drop has a puzzle associated with it. Usually you have to break some sort of blocks, and certain blocks can only be broken by certain power-ups. So that block we saw there, or those blocks we saw there, can only be broken with the umbrella. Normally you're supposed to have the hamster, and he can break through the blocks a lot easier, but with a well-timed jump and attack you can actually break through the blocks. This is Wispy Woods. Oh wow, the mistakes. Okay, whatever. He has RNG associated with him. Apples do more damage than a regular power attack. So we actually got basically perfect RNG, but I poorly executed it. So something I do at the end of each boss fight is I'm going to soft reset. And that's because at the end of each boss fight, Kirby does his little Kirby dance. And that wastes about 5 seconds, so it's just faster to go out to the main menu screen. So I still didn't quite finish all the categories. So we talked about getting all the rainbow drops for the best ending. When you get the best ending, you have to fight. The final boss is not DDD, as it is in any percent. You fight DDD, then you fight the dark matter. And there's 2 phases to dark matter, and that's how you get the best ending. If you do a best ending speedrun, you end up with 93% on your file. So there's 7 more percent in the game that you have to get somewhere. Those 7%, this is how you get 100%. This is the 100% category I'm talking about right now. The way you get 100% is you go back to a boss fight after you beat it, and inside that boss fight there's a mini game now. So you can do that for 6 different bosses. So that if you did that in conjunction with the rainbow drops and the boss fights, or the mini games, you would end up with 97%, or 99%, excuse me. So that's 93 plus 6. To get the last 1%, you need to hope for an RNG drop, which is called the Blob Girl. I'm not going to go into specifics, but the Blob Girl has a 1 in 8 chance or a 1 in 10 chance of dropping in specific cases, and it's just random. And for a speedrun, you only have really 1 shot for it if you want to get a world record. So that's why I don't do 100%. That's the second rainbow drop right there. we go back into the second level and use Needle. So that's basically all the categories. So we have Ku, the owl. Ku flies, and if I mash A, Ku flies faster. He's a little bit more difficult to control after you start mashing. We have the feather attack with Cutter. Oh, bad RNG, please. Bad RNG, please, but that's mostly my fault there. It's okay. Box in the corner. This is a really bad fight. That should not have ever happened. That's okay. Those things. These are just things about running the game. So with boss fights or mini boss fights in general, especially with Ku and Cutter, I want to hit the mini boss with all 3 of the feathers. That does triple damage compared to hitting with just 1. Losing your power-up and sucking it back in loses about 3 seconds every time you do it. So I really don't want to take damage. I'm going to try to do this boss correctly. I'm hitting the boss with 3 feathers each time. So I have to get really close to it in order to do that. And that's a perfect boss fight. And then we're going to soft reset. Then we're going to just mash through this. That was World 2. World 2 is actually one of the easiest worlds in the run, because you fly over everything. World 3 gets a little bit more complex, because we have to have Kine. Kine is the fish. So we need Kine to get the World 3 Rainbow Drop. And we need the Rainbow Drop to get the best ending. So I'm actually going to drop Ku right here. Grab this stone. You'll notice that Kirby has lost 2 health. I'm going to actually not do that like that. I really don't want to take damage. And I was not quite lined up correctly. Not sure why I did a dive there, but that's okay. I really don't want to lose my power up underwater because I cannot reclaim it. So I'm going to take things a little safe here. A little safer than I normally would. If I lose my power up, it's about a 15 to 20 second time loss. I want the stone power up because in the 3rd level of this world, we need it to get the rainbow drop. So I'm just going to be holding on to stone for the entire world. Also makes this section right here a little bit faster than other power-ups. So we're going to fight a mini-boss with the stone, which is actually not very easy to do. Actually, we got good RNG, so we had a perfect fight there. That was good. Now we have Kine. Kine's kind of like Ku. If I mash A while swimming, I go faster. This game has a lot of mashing in it, so I'm not going to max out my mashing. Oops. That's okay. I'm not going to max out my mashing right now. I need to save my wrists for later. This is the dark room. You can illuminate it if you have the light bulb power up. Okay, there we go. There's some precise movement that I actually messed up at the very end. That's kind of great. Oh my god, let's get on to the platform. Okay, and we're back. No worries, easy peasy level. Alright, actually level 3 is actually one of the easier levels of the world. So I'll just swim down right here. And then swim over these things, and then I'll do a couple jumps a little bit later, like this, to get over those things. Still trying to keep stone. Need stone for the next couple rooms, just so we can get that rainbow drop again. We also need Kine here, because Kine can swim against water currents, like this. There's a door here, you can't see it, but if I had the light bulb you could, but you don't need a light bulb to actually get into it. And now we have 3 of the 7 rainbow drops. As you progress in the game, each rainbow drop gets a little bit more complex to obtain. So the first 3 were kind of just like obvious, they're just have the right animal and go to the right place. But later on you have to have sequences of animals and you have to have a series of power-ups. And then we have this overly complicated maze-like hallway here, where I'm going to try to manipulate some of these fish, because they swim towards you, so I'm going to try to Sometimes the stone kind of eats inputs a little bit. So I'm trying to get these fish to swim away from me like that, so I don't have to attack them. A few I cannot do that to, like this guy I always just kill. A little bit better that way. This one I'll manipulate. And there we go. And a little bit of light mashing at the end. And then we have the World 3 boss. I'm gonna try to do what I call a zero cycle. Perfect fight. That's what I call a zero cycle. I've never really gotten that in a live setting. A zero cycle saves like maybe a second over a suboptimal fight. So you'll notice that Kirby lost 2 health at some point. We actually lost those health on Wispy Woods and on one of the enemies in the second world. The game keeps track of your health bars separately from your animal friends compared to Kirby. And I don't get any health refills because I'm not doing the Kirby dance at the end of each world. If you did a Kirby dance, you'll actually get that health back. It shouldn't prove to be too big of an issue what my health is with Kirby. Okay, that's a big issue right there. That's very easy to die if you make that mistake. Okay, we got good RNG on this guy here. Okay, good. There's a lot of just dropping your power-ups and sucking in stars or items or whatever you want to call them, things, to do damage. Each star does about 4 bars of damage to a mini-boss, and mini-bosses have 12 bars, or enemies have 12 bars of health. You can suck in 2 items and do a double star. Double stars will do double damage, so you'll do 8 out of 12 bars of damage, so 2/3 of the mini-boss's health. So that's a common strat that we'll use. This level has a skip right here. I'm gonna try to do it. Almost. Never got it. Never can get it first try. So second try. That's not bad. There's an air current in that room, and you're supposed to get Coup and fly across the air current, but with a well-timed jump, you can skip all that. The first strat is a lot easier to pull off than the backup. The backup is actually frame perfect for some reason, and I got the backup first try, but I can't get the actual skip first try, which is like a 4-frame window. And then we're gonna do some bonking against walls there, as you saw. Just makes things slightly faster. Again, we still have fire, so we're just gonna mash. We're just gonna mash B. Oh, of course, 1 pixel too high. So now I'm a little bit worried about my health. Also bad RNG on this fight here. And now we're back with Kine. So I will not get a health refill with Kirby until World 5 level 2? I think that's what it is. Maybe 3. I know it's the auto-scroller level. So the screen, whoops, nice. Game ate my jumps, which is cute. Okay. Game's eating my jumps some more, which is not great, but we're okay. I really don't want to die. That's the big thing. I gotta have Kine. Gotta have Kine. Because if I don't have Kine, there's not really a good way to get him back. You can hope that the game gives you Kine here, but it's a 1 in 3 shot. So I need Kine in order to get the rainbow drop in this level. Whoops. There's an auto-scroller in this level, which is great. We love auto-scrollers here. This game has a lot of auto-scrollers. So you can lose time in auto scrollers if you take damage. Again, because that loses a couple seconds. I also like to kill enemies off screen just because it makes things slightly easier. Alright. So there's a rainbow drop in this level here. There's also RNG with these guys. You got good RNG. Usually one of those guys will attack you. So we need Kine and Fire. Your powers, if you drop them underwater, they have a very finite amount of life. And I need to suck in these blocks here. So I suck in my power to refill its time while I suck in these blocks. While I suck in those blocks, because Kine's the only animal friend that can suck in blocks underwater. Okay, we're good. We're good. And no other animal friend can get through the jets down there at the bottom too as well. So that works. So now we have the World 4 boss. We're already like halfway through the game. Kind of, not really. The sprites kind of disappear in the middle of the screen for some reason. The game gets overloaded, I don't know. So I'm just gonna mash fire. Okay. I don't like this pattern as much as some of the other ones, but that's okay. Oh, good. Okay. And that's that boss. Easy boss. Again, we're gonna soft reset to save 5 seconds over the Kirby dance. So there is a health refill drop in this level, and it doesn't cost a lot of time to grab, and I think I'm gonna grab it. If I had 3 bars of health, I would skip it, but I do not want to die. Actually, I just skipped it by mistake, that's okay. Muscle memory made me skip it. As long as bad things don't happen, we should be okay. I almost took damage twice in that whole scenario, which is, I don't want to do that either time. This section right here is very easy to take damage and die, but we're okay. Then we're just gonna mash through this room. We're gonna take a bonk there on purpose, so we can have enough fire height to get through that. Then we just run through the rest of the level, doing attacks wherever we need them. I can get a health refill during this minigame, but I'd prefer not to. So I just have to get through the mini-boss without dying, or without taking extra damage. Okay. Okay, we're good. All I needed. That's the perfect fight right there. So that boss always does the same thing in the very beginning, so I know I can get a double star off on him. He does a little bit right after he throws his attack. He has some RNG. He might warp, or he might just stand around, or he might just run into you. But we got the perfect fight, so it's all good. And I'm not worried about my health anymore because there's a health drop in this auto scroller. There's an enemy right here at the bottom right. I don't know what it is. I've never seen it before, because I always just kill it off screen. But I know it's there. And there's my health drop. I could have waited for it to appear so I can grab it, but too late. So in this level, in the first room, we can go decide what animal friend we want. So there's 3 doors right there. I took it slowly so we can all see them. Depending on which door you can go through, you can get a different animal friend. So we'll go back to this room a few times, because we'll need Rick and Kine throughout the run. But right now we need Koo, because Koo is the fastest. Also, Koo has the most dope music. I don't think so, but other people do. So this level is all just mash. This is where the mashing comes back. We get quite a bit of mashing in this world, and in particular the next one. And we're just gonna fly up here. These helicopter enemies right here, they can kill your animal friend in one hit, so we really want to avoid them wherever possible. And my big goal in this room is to not take damage. Okay. Good. I dodged all the guys in a very specific way, which is faster than using an attack. And we dodged that guy. Perfect. So this is Captain Stitch. He has a few RNGs. He's giving me the good RNG right now. So this attack has a lot of vulnerability frames. And there you go, one cycle. So I need to drop my power up. Then we're going to drop Coup, because we want Kirby with fire, not because it makes this room faster, because it makes the next room faster. So we're going to bonk against these walls with fire, because it knocks you up really high. Like that. And it makes going through this underwater section a lot faster. And then we'll horizontally fire to the left. And then we'll horizontally fire to the right, but we have to watch out for enemies. And there we go. Easy peasy. Easy game, easy life. So we're not going to go into the level 5 yet, we're actually going to go get Rick first, because we need a Rick to solve the puzzle in the next level. Because you guessed it, we're gonna have a rainbow drop. Okay. That toad was coming for me. He was looking for me. I actually like Rick's music too. Tiny Rick. Then we have another auto-scroller here, which I'm gonna be careful in, because I have died in it way more times than I would care to admit. I have lost runs to dying in this auto-scroller because I didn't hold a jump down all the way or something. Not much to say special. There's nothing special about this auto-scroller really. Nothing special about any of the auto-scrollers, I suppose. But I want the spark power up because we'll need it to get the rainbow drop in this world. I'll get that just for fun. Funsies. Yay. Hashtag funsies. So we're not going to go in that door. We're actually going to wait. Because there's a hidden door up there. So this is the reason we need a Rick. We need a Rick to break these blocks right here in particular. I'm going to just really take that cautiously right there. You can jump over that gap and it saves a little bit of time, but I died during a major marathon by not jumping, and dying there loses about a minute or so. Then we'll have Needle, because Needle will do some damage on the boss. This is the Naked Lady room. I didn't get it pointed out in real time because I forgot, but trust me, there's a naked lady there. So we have Needle. We want Needle with Rick, because Needle plus Rick will do a lot of damage to this boss coming up. This boss has two different parts, the sun and the moon. Okay. It's RNG which one it attacks first. Whoops. Hey, come on. And there we go. And we're actually going to wait out this Kirby dance. Buttons, please. Okay. We're gonna wait that Kirby dance out because we actually want Kine. We get Kine in this room. Then we exit and we leave the world. So now we're kind of in the halfway point of the run. As you progress through the worlds in the game, each world tends to have more levels than the one before it, except for the first 3 worlds, which all have 3 levels. So there's a very specific set of Kine movement. Kine is very kind of awkward. He's very kind of awkward. He's awkward to control on land because he's a fish. That damage is on purpose. Then we're gonna want light bulb. Mostly because it just allows us to run through everything in this level. I can just hold it out infinitely. In Kirby's Dream Land 2, they have the light bulb ability with Kine, but the light bulb breaks after a while, so it's not overpowered as it is in this game. But we're not playing Dream Land 3, we're playing 2, because 2 is the best. Okay, we did not get the bad RNG on that enemy. Yeah, so normally we get a power-up because we need it for something, like a puzzle or something. But in this case, we just needed the power-up just to get through that level fast. Just to kill the enemies, get out, keep them taking damage. That was bad RNG, but it doesn't really matter all that much. Just slowed me down a little bit. So we need the double. So we need ice here, because the game won't let you. The game like forces you to grab ice to get to the room. So we're gonna actually get a rainbow drop through a very sneaky way. The game anticipates you to have Kine, and you're supposed to go get every animal friend. So we go left in this room, we get Kine again, we get Spark, and then we go right, we go back to this room, we go right, and then we get Rick plus Spark. That's what the game wants you to do, and then you end up with Koo plus, and then you have to go get Cutter. That's all confusing. So what I'm gonna do, you're supposed to get Kine there, so I'm gonna skip all that. We're gonna skip this major puzzle in this game. Because in the next room, we need to clear all the enemies from it. And the enemies are held together by electric blocks. So you need a Rick normally, but we can just do this. Oops, not like that. Just like that. Now we have Koo. So you're supposed to have Rick to do that, but whatever. You need Koo to get Cutter, because Koo can only fly through the air currents. Nice. Whatever. Oh, RNG, please. We're kind of at this mini-boss's will. This is actually a pretty bad fight, but that's okay. We need Koo to get Cutter, we need Cutter to get the rainbow drop. So there's this really long roundabout puzzle that you're supposed to solve. We cut out about half of it. And then we just make our way to the end of the level. So now we have 6 of the 7 rainbow drops. Unfortunately, we did get a lot of bad RNG in that level. That was pretty bad. That's okay. But now we have Koo and Cutter, which is usually the best combo in this game. And we're back to mashing again. There's a lot of mashing in this world. And it only gets worse. Okay, none of those guys hit me, which is important. Not really. It just saves a couple seconds to not take damage. We get fire here just because it makes going through this a lot faster and a lot easier. Oh, hello. That guy did not want to work with me. And then we get stone here, which is great, because you can chill and do this. Just let the stone take you down to the bottom, and you're invulnerable. Easy level. Baby level. Unfortunately, we have stone here, which is not the best attack to have. Because again, stone does sometimes eat inputs. The game kind of lags a little bit when you kill enemies and when you use stone, so it's pretty easy to get your inputs eaten when you use stone. Also, we're gonna fight Captain Stitch again. Captain Stitch is not easy with stone. Okay, we got the good RNG. I'm gonna go for a 1 cycle. Okay, that's a 1 cycle. I discovered that strat a couple months ago. I've actually not showcased it live. And you can also just like fly ahead of this, so you don't need to do any like tricky flying. You need to do some tricky flyings here. So I'm gonna count 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Oops, I flew a little bit past the door. That's fine. Really don't want to lose my power up there. If I lose my power up there, that's about a minute time loss, because going through this room without a power up is really slow. And then we're done. We're just gonna go to the end of the level now. Then the stone ate my inputs. Alright. We don't need stone anymore. That's a Gordo clip. It's really hard to do and it saves very little bit of time. Cannot do 2. Yeah, getting Gordo clips doesn't really happen, and it's kind of cool when they do. Because when you're sucking in an enemy, inhaling an enemy, that's a better phrase. When you're inhaling an enemy, you are invulnerable. So that guy jumped into me right as I was flying by, which happens. That guy did it too, it's okay. There's a health refill in the last part of this level, and there's a health refill at the end of the world. So now we have Ku and Cutter, which we'll be holding on to until the very end of the game. Kind of. To the last level. And then we just gotta mash overly long horizontal hallways. Then we go through this door right here, and then that's the end of the level. The doors are preset, so you always go through the second door there. The other doors are traps. Again, we're trying to hit the mini-boss with 3 feathers wherever possible, and keeping track of their iframes. I feel that every boss has their own invulnerability frames, so you have to kind of just have a feel for each one. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but I definitely feel that some bosses have more invulnerability frames than others. So we're at another section where I really don't want to lose my power up, because I cannot get it back because it'll be underwater. I cannot inhale power ups underwater with with the owl. Almost lost it right there. It's about a 30 second time loss if I lose my power up. Oh, that fish is being really strange up there. Okay, he was moving he had a really strange pattern. And then we're gonna mash Cutter here, because evidently it makes you go up faster, but at the same time I think it produces lag, so I don't think it's actually faster. Oh, get the door. Okay, there we go. Now we have Krako. Krako is kind of tough. There's 2 phases. The first phase is kind of RNG, so I want to do at least 2 damage to him each time. Oh, ate my attack. Okay, that's bad. Really bad. Okay, we got lucky here. He did 2 laser beams. Laser beams I can do a lot of attacks on. Sometimes he doesn't do any. Phase 2, there's basically no RNG, but he has a lot of iframes, so I need to wait for his eye to stop rolling and just fly around him. And again, I'm trying to hit him with as many feathers as I can. Okay, kind of a slow fight. I mean, we also took damage, which is not good. Again, we soft reset, so we don't sit through the Kirby dance. And that's it. Push the buttons, please. Now we're in World 7. World 7 is kind of built in like 2 halves. There's like the left side of the castle and the right side of the castle. So the left side of the castle is kind of a mirror image of the right side. So we're flying in a complicated way to the right. In the 4th level we'll be flying, or not complicated, it's just a long way to the right. And the 4th level we'll fly a long way to the left. and each level has its own like mirror image of itself. And then there's this horizontal auto-scroller to the right. Level 4 will have the same thing but to the left. Again, I'm trying to not take damage. That does happen on occasion, which is not good, but that's okay. At the end of each level in this world, there's a mini-boss. Oh, okay. That was weird. I don't like that pattern. That pattern is not easy to work with. So World 7 has 7 different levels. In the Kirby universe, there's 7 different power-ups, or not the Kirby universe. In KDL 2, there's 7 different power-ups. So at the end of each level, there will be a mini-boss that represents one of the different power-ups. So that was Fire. This level has Spark, and so on and so forth. This level does not have an auto-scroller. 3 of the 7 levels in World 7 do not have auto-scrollers. So about half of World 7 is auto-scroller. Do some mashing, because I can. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to fly up there, dodge that attack. That's okay. So, even though World 7 is really boring to do, and it's really not fun to practice, it's a part of the run where it's really easy to lose time, because each mini-boss has its own strat. You have to know how to do each strat, and each mini-boss has like 2 or 3 different patterns, maybe more, maybe less. So that's really a big part of learning this game, is actually learning, sitting down and mastering the mini-bosses in this world. And you do have to sit through all of these auto-scrollers. So I'm going to be killing enemies off-screen, just because I don't want to take the risk of not killing them. There's one enemy in particular that can actually break your attack. And he can just keep on breaking your attack over and over, and you end up dying because the auto-scroller just overtakes you. That's not the case for this one. That's in the next one, in the mirror image of this level. But it's better not to take any chances. So we have Mr. Frosty. Perfect fight. So each of the mini bosses has, actually I'm not sure if it's exactly true, but a lot of the mini bosses have they're slightly different now than their original counterparts. Mr. Frosty, for instance, actually moves slightly faster, and he has an extra attack. He has this like ice wind attack that he does that's really annoying. Captain Stitch, which we saw earlier, we'll see him at the end of this world. He actually moves a lot faster and a lot more erratically. So the mini-bosses in this world are actually slightly tougher than they are in the original game. So this is the mirror image to the first level. So we're moving to the left this time. It's not an exact mirror image, because the enemies are in a different spot, or it's a completely different layout enemy-wise. But that's kind of the gist of this world. So we have the ninja boss, which has a quick kill. Okay. So we shot 2 talons into him, or two sets of feathers, and then we do a double star. And then since he's the ninja boss, we end up with Cutter again. Easy. Just trying to remember how to swim through this level. Okay. This level does not have an auto-scroller, kind of like the second level. Whoops. Oh gosh. Okay. I flew down for some reason, without intending to, so I just ran into spikes. Classic. So here's my strat. You can just fly over these guys. If you stop mashing at a specific point, there you go. Okay. It's giving me kind of bad pattern. That's okay. That was one of the slower patterns, but that's okay. I actually say that's one of the hardest mini-bosses in the entire speedrun. Doesn't seem like it, but it actually kinda is. People will say the one in this level is the hardest one. I don't even need a mash, because we have an air current. I learned that recently. Alright, last auto-scroller of the run. This auto-scroller is not fair, casually, because it can actually... you're going into it blind, and you have to just guess which way is the right way. If you don't guess correctly, you can die. You can't get out of everything. Again, I'm just gonna kill enemies off screen because it's safer. It's not as interesting. A lot of people like to joke around in auto-scrollers, but auto-scrollers is serious business. Alright, Captain Stitch. He moves a lot faster. Gave me the good pattern again, 3 times in a row. And we one-cycled him. One-cycling him on this fight is actually a lot harder than any of the other fights because he has a lot less iframes, or a lot less open time to hit him. Alright, and then we're gonna go get the last rainbow drop in this level. Taking damage there is normal. We don't need cutter anyways. Okay. So there's a series of power-ups that I need in order to get the rainbow drop here. So it starts out with fire. I actually don't know what the order is, I just kind of know where the enemies are I'm supposed to grab. And I remember as I do it. I need to drop that right now, okay. There's only 5 passageways even though there's 7 power-ups in the game, which I thought was kind of weird, but whatever. Okay. And then we conveniently end with cutter again, which is just great. Alright. That's the last rainbow drop, so we're gonna get the best ending now. Again, the best ending includes an extra boss fight. Oh, he jumped. That's okay. It's only slightly slow. Alright. So we fight DDD first. DDD has some RNG and some patterns. It's hard to explain. You kind of get a feel of what he's going to do. So I'm just going to do cutter into him for a while. One cutter does 1/4 of a bar of damage. Oh wow, that was really weird. So this is actually a strange pattern. I've never quite seen something like this before. 1 star does... That's... okay. That's unfortunate. So that's a very rare thing to happen, and I messed up a little bit there at the end, so I have to reset. Whoops, I have to actually go through the cutscene. So that's very unfortunate. So what happened there is I did not swallow my power-up, and I got sucked in by DDD, which means I would not have a power-up anymore, and I can't go through the last half of the fight without a power-up. It would be much slower, waiting for his drops. Just trust me on that. So we're gonna lose like 45 seconds there, but that's just, you know, oh come on. So if he inhales you while you have your power up, you'll just drop it, but it was in my mouth still, so I could not do anything. Whoops. Okay. Then we go double star, which does 2 bars of damage. I'm just going to kill him right here, which is not the best place to kill him, because he has to walk to the center of the screen in order to finish his fight. And he walks really slowly, but he wasn't going to be moving anytime soon, so we still have to do the best ending fight. The best ending fight has 2 phases. In the first phase, there's a little bit of RNG. But basically we're going to be reflecting attacks back at him to do 3 bars of damage. Remember that bosses have 12 bars of damage. Sometimes when you reflect these attacks back, they only do 1 bar, but hopefully we'll get 3 hits in a row. Second phase of the fight, there is no RNG, or there's basically no RNG. So in order to reflect the attack back at him, we need to be really close to him. About that close. Like that, so that's a 3 hit. That was a 3 hit too, so he's at half health. He's gonna do some like dashes. Hopefully, we don't want him to switch sides. That'd be really bad, or it'd be really annoying if he switched sides. Okay, and 1 more hit. So that one did 1 for some reason. I was a little off center. That's okay. Alright, last phase. So we're gonna actually just swing our sword at him a few times. And we're gonna take it easy here. We're gonna reflect those balls back into him. They each do 2 bars of damage each. We're gonna do that twice. And then we're just gonna mash our sword until he dies. We're gonna try to line up where he's gonna be. So time is coming up kind of soon. So time is coming up right now. Oh, sorry. Those are my.
You gotta sharpen up, man.
That's my split sound. I'm sorry, everyone. I always forget that's there. But that's Kirby's Dream Land 2 best ending. Yeah. Very unfortunate that we lost that time at the end. 45 is an okay time. We would have been on 44 pace if we did not have that really weird mess up with DDD, but you know, that's how these things go. So, I'm glad I got to run this once again. Thank you SS4C for considering my run. And thank you guys for watching, you know. Staying up late with some Kirby action. Good stuff. Now we get to see the true ending of the game. I think we're still a little bit ahead of schedule, so the credits are really short for this game anyway, so we can just... I think it's okay if we watch it, but it's not my call. Credits are like a minute long. If you do any percent, you actually don't get to see these credits. You see a different set of credits, and you don't actually see the credits don't have the designers of the game. They don't have the developers. The credits for any percent, they have just the enemy names. So my favorite part about Best Ending is you get to see this beautiful monochrome rainbow. I don't know why they made rainbows for a game based on rainbows for a Game Boy, but there you go. So that's the best ending. I was ZorlaxSeven, this is SS4C. I think we'll have someone coming in to introduce the next run, but thank you for watching, everyone. Love you all.